I'd like to mention a few house rules for our press conference today. First, to those who are with us here in Zoom, please stay on mute and disable your video. Turn them on only when it is your time to speak. Second, if you have questions to any of or all of our resource speakers for our today's event, please type them in the chat box. The question and answer portion will commence after we listen to all our invited guests. If you wish to ask them directly, you may do so by clicking the raise hand button during the question and answer portion later on the program. To those who are joining us via Facebook, you may also comment or send in your messages to the Move as One Coalition Facebook page. We will try our best to facilitate all the questions you may have to our resource speakers. And third, please refrain from typing any unnecessary messages in the chat box or perform any other actions that may disrupt the flow of our program. I'm sure that by now we are already aware of these netiquettes, and I hope that we all could follow these procedures so we may have an orderly event. Our press conference is the second of the four-part Padyak Pilipinas initiative, which seeks to empower our citizens who want to be part of building the country's cycling culture. Through Padyak Pilipinas, we aim to create spaces for collaboration among the government, private sector, and civil society through the conduct of road sharing exercises, filing of bicycle ordinances, and other efforts that would support and further advance our cycling culture. This event follows the two-day workshop held on October 29 to 30, gathering more than 60 representatives from the national government agencies, civil society, and local governments from all over the country. They learned about ways to set up and finance pop-up bike lanes, conduct people's initiative, and craft local ordinances or permanent protected bike lanes with reference to the joint administrative order by the Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of the Interior and Local Government, Department of Transportation, and Department of Health on the guidelines on the proper use and promotion of active transport during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, and the DILG Memorandum Circular on the guidelines for the establishment of a network of cycling lanes and walking paths to support people's mobility. Our today's conference serves to sustain the momentum from the workshop. For today, we will listen to how local government units will carry out the DILG Memorandum Circular, how executive agencies will also be implementing the joint administrative order, and how the civil society could work with our national and local leaders to breathe life into these plans and strategies. We saw during this pandemic just how much we need to have better mobility options within our cities and communities for our frontliners, workers, and citizens. We also learned how undemocratic we are using our public roads and streets when majority of Filipino households don't own a single car. And we now recognize the benefits to our health, climate and environment, and local economy from cycling and active mobility. But while we have accomplished significant work, there's still a lot that we need to do in terms of making active mobility an integral part of our society. And this is precisely what Padyak Pilipinas is pushing for and why we are gathered here today. With no further ado, I now give the floor to our first speaker to give us the opening remarks. Is a public transport expert and advocate who had previously served in the Asian Development Bank and as a senior advisor for the Department of Transportation. He is none other than Mr. Robert C. II. Mr. Robert, good morning.
Yes, good morning, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to welcome all of you. All of us are here today to create a new mobility future for all Filipinos. And as all of us can observe, more and more people are using bicycles as their means of transportation. We see it, all over on our roads, in parking areas, in malls, in shops, in offices. And this is a much welcome trend because of what it means for our society, our economy, our environment, and our planet. More people on bicycles is a plus for all of us. By choosing a bicycle, a person is giving up his or her potential seat on public transportation. And as we know, when public transport is in short supply, this means fewer people competing for the limited seats on public transport. So more people cycling means shorter queues and less congested public transport services. Choosing to cycle also means foregoing the option of using a private car or motorcycle, and more people on bikes enable our roads to move many more people using the same physical infrastructure for the remaining car or motorcycle users. And on the health and environmental side, more people on bikes instead of cars means less pollution and better air quality. Reduced consumption of fossil fuels translates to lower emission of greenhouse gases. And when we're battling climate change, every bit counts. With more active lifestyles, Filipinos would have longer life expectancy, better mental health, and lower incidence of lifestyle diseases. Just recently, uh, the Typhoon Rolly drove home the point of the need for emergency preparedness. And as we observed, after a natural disaster, you have communication lines cut, public transport suspended, you have roads blocked, and limited fuel supplies. But amidst this type of emergency, a bicycle can provide ready mobility for every household. So when we look at disaster preparedness and disaster resiliency, an important message is if more households had a bicycle, we would be more resilient to climate disasters. At a time when public transport is inadequate and unreliable, we can see many essential workers choosing to cycle to their jobs. And today, people on bicycles are keeping important industries and services running. But the sad reality is that today, conditions for cycling remain precarious in most cities because of the absence of safe, protected cycling lanes. And cyclists are paying the price for this deficiency. Every week, we see reports of frontliners on bicycles injured or killed when hit by a motor vehicle. The solution is not to mandate more protective gear for cyclists, but it is to make our streets safe for all cyclists by providing the right infrastructure. Today and into the foreseeable future, our priority should be to get as many people as we can into traveling by bicycle. Build protected bike lanes and they will come. And if you are a car user, please see the value of converting car lanes into protected bicycle lanes. The vast majority of Filipinos do not have cars, but they are entitled to use our roads just as much as any car owner. Roads are public assets and need to be shared by all. So in closing, the key message here is the best transport investment we can make today is not a railway, it's not an expressway, it's not a bridge, it is a protected bicycle lane. Low cost, short gestation, pro-poor, pro-climate, pro-clean air, pro-health, pro-road safety, pro-mobility, and pro-resilience. Protected bike lanes are our path to a better mobility future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert C. So it is very clear naman how cycling can contribute making our health and environment better, and how cycling is considered a climate change mitigation actor, even in disaster preparedness. So we now go to the first presentation from Eldon Lucio, the Project Officer for Active Transport Initiatives of the Department of Transportation. Hello, Mr. Eldon.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Yeah, before we start, the DOTR would like to thank the Padyak Pilipinas team for this initiative on engaging the national government agencies and local government units and assisting them to set up an immediate infrastructure to ensure the safety of the active transport commuters while the permanent infrastructure is being planned and constructed in the different areas of the country. And I would like to say that the initiative is also very timely as the DOTR, other national government agencies, the LGUs are mandated by the National Transport Policy by NEDA to promote active transportation through providing active transportation infrastructure in the overall transport framework of in the country. And yeah, the DOTR would also like to recognize the role of active transport in economic recovery by paving way for a way more sustainable mode of transportation as the public transport capacity is limited to comply with physical distancing protocols at the moment. And next slide, please. So here's the brief outline of our presentation. First is the goals, the policies, and the two major projects of the government pertaining to active transportation. Next slide, please. So yeah, the first objective of the government is to increase the accessibility of key activity areas and fundamental facilities through paving way for another mode of transportation, that is active transportation. And of course, reduce carbon emission through the promotion of non-motorized mode of transportation. And of course, promote road safety for all road users through the establishment of infrastructure and enforcement of road and traffic regulations. Next slide, please. So yeah, first, as mentioned earlier, the DOH, DOTR, DILG, and DPWH issued a joint administrative order on the guidelines on the proper use and promotion of active transportation during and after COVID-19 pandemic. So the JAW po defines and delineates the respective roles of the national government agencies and LGUs on how to implement and promote policies, programs, and projects to promote active transportation. And the second, recently, the DPWH and the OTR issued the design standards for bicycle facilities to establish general design and standards to ensure the safety, the uniformity, and quality of the bike lane infrastructure. Next slide, please. And the DOTR also recently issued a guidelines and protocols on active transportation, which provide a step-by-step guidelines for the light mobility vehicle and cyclists on how to safely utilize the roads. And of course, aside from the cyclists and LMV users, the guidelines also provide a protocols for the motor vehicle drivers on how to safely utilize the roads together with the cyclists and light mobility vehicle users. Next slide, please. So yeah, the first project pertaining to major project of the government pertaining to active transportation is the Metropolitan Bike Lane networks. Next slide, please. Here, the DOTR and the DPWH will establish bike lane networks in the metropolitan areas of the country, namely Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao. So yeah, the presence of the bike lanes shall ensure the safety of the cyclists and the light mobility vehicle users, and provide an additional mode of transportation by making the activity areas and fundamental facilities more accessible for the active transport commuters. Yeah, for the first for Metro Manila alignment, we aim to can we go back one slide? Yeah, thank you. For the Metro Manila alignment, we're planning to establish the bike lane networks along the radial, circumferential, and other major roads of the metro area to provide an intercity connectivity for the active transport commuters. Next slide, please. Same principle for Metro Cebu. We will be establishing a bike lane infrastructure along the primary and national roads of the Metro Cebu area. And it will cover the following cities: Cebu, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu. Next slide, please. And the last metropolitan areas is the Metro Davao. Same principle, we will be establishing a bike lane infrastructure along the national and primary roads of Davao City, Metro Davao area. Next slide, please. Another initiative of the government, DOTR together with MMDA to promote active transportation is the bike sharing program. The bike sharing program, basically the general principle is to make the bikes readily available for the commuters. Next slide, please. The system will be a station-based system. So meaning the bikes will have to be picked up and returned to only at the designated bike share stations. And for the initial phase of the project, the coverage will be along the EDSA corridor. And the implementing agency will be MMDA, and MMDA will be engaging a private system provider to operate and ensure the maintenance of the system. Next slide, please. As for the bike stations, please note first that the number and location of the bike stations are still tentative, as we currently evaluating the feasibility of installing bike share stations in the initially identified facilities. So initially, we have identified 34 facilities, 34 stations, and we are planning to have 40 bikes per facility. So in total, 1,360 bike units. Next slide, please. So the bike stations, we are planning to install it in the what we call the fundamental facilities that we identified. So these are the public transport facilities, medical facilities, LGU facilities, national government facilities, and commercial establishments wherein the foot traffic is relatively high. So we have identified the 7 MRT3 stations, 1 public utility vehicle terminal, I think somewhere in Cubao, 10 level 3 hospitals, 5 city halls, 4 national government agencies, and 7 commercial establishments. So the mentioned facilities are the facilities within the 3.5-kilometer buffer of the EDSA corridor, because that is, based on our research, the average bikeable distance. So next slide, please. And considering the risks and on the operations of a bike share system, these are the following security features that will be included in the bike share system. So GPS locator for the bikes and the bike share stations, a designated biking route, CCTV cameras at the bike stations and along the route of the bike sharing system, the locking system in the bikes and in the bike stations, security personnel to man the bike share stations, and a registration system for the users of the prospective users of the bike share program. And as incongruent din po to in the initiative of the Padyak Pilipinas recently, the DOTR and DPWH established a pop-up or temporary bike lanes along the Manila and Quezon cities, wherein the major medical facilities are situated. So I think it spans around at least 15 kilometers po for both for Metro City, Manila City and Metro Manila. So thank you. That's all for Department of Transportation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eldon Dionisio. Definitely lahat ito good news para sa ating mga Filipino communities who mainly rely on biking as a means of transportation. So may we now have Ms. Aliyah Arca of DILG. She is the Assistant Program Manager of the DILG Manila Bay program of the Bureau of Local Government Supervision. Ms. Aliyah, you may now have the floor.
Okay, so good morning to everyone. Nakikita naman yung screen ko, no? So yeah, so I'll proceed with my presentation. So first off, we'd like to thank Padyak Pilipinas and our partner government agencies and organizations for the successful conduct of this event. So again, my name is Alea. I am from the DILG, Bureau of Local Government Supervision, and allow me to share the initiatives of the department to support sustainable active transport systems. Okay, so like what Ms. Nazreen mentioned a while ago, one of the first initiatives of the DILG is to draft the Memorandum Circular 2020-100 dated July 17, 2020 on the provision of guidelines for LGUs in undertaking the necessary actions in the establishment of a network of cycling lanes and walking paths. So at this time, I think it was last June 2020 when the president proclaimed that NCR and certain parts of the country will now be declared as or will be under GCQ. So with that declaration, we were expecting that a lot of offices will be allowing people to report physically, and then mas matagal na din yung operating hours ng mga malls and commercial establishments. And basically, as we transition to the new normal, we were expecting that there will be a lot of people who will be traveling and will be using alternative modes of transportation given the limited capacity of our public transportation. So the main goal of the MC is to issue guidelines to LGUs on how they can establish the necessary infrastructure and services to accommodate the influx of people who will be shifting to the use of alternative modes of transport such as use of bicycle and walking. So if you would notice, the MC was actually issued July 2020, which is a month earlier than the issuance of the Joint Administrative Order, which was issued last August. But basically, the major provisions of the MC is based on the Joint Administrative Order. So the long-term goal basically here is to promote sustainable active transport, which is also based naman on the National Transport Policy. So this was also discussed by Sir Eldon a while ago. Ayan. So to briefly discuss the major provisions of the memorandum circular, so first off, we are highly encouraging LGUs to revisit or to draft their local transportation plans. So, particularly their local public transport route plan, or revisit their comprehensive land use plan and comprehensive development plans, as we believe that these plans can really help the LGU source out information that they can use as reference when they plan for the establishment of networks ng mga bicycle lanes and walking paths. So one of the important things to consider when we implement the policy is there should be an institutional mechanism to oversee the implementation. So an office designated by the LGU could be, or parang for the LG to create another office. These are the options for institutional mechanism. Third, ito siguro yung highlight ng policy, no, is for LGUs to identify and establish cycling lanes and walking paths. So yung pag-establish ng mga lanes and walking paths have to consider that it has to have access dun sa mga vital establishments natin. It has to be safe. So kaya we are recommending that the LGUs visit their local development plans to better guide them on where to establish the lanes. So part of this is also to enact the policies and ordinances that will prescribe the guidelines, rules, and regulations on the use of road. So we want to make sure that the lanes established will be safe and usable to all active transport users. And then identify and implement corresponding programs, projects, and activities. And of course, to develop IEC strategies and materials to raise awareness on the importance of active transport systems and awareness na din sa kung ano yung mga roads accessible, saan pwede dumaan yung mga cyclists natin, among other pertinent information. So as to the role of or initiatives of the DILG, aside from the issuance of the MC, of course, for every policy issued by the department, these policies have to be monitored carefully. So the DILG monitors the compliance of our local government units nationwide on the implementation of the issued memorandum circular. So this is a quarterly monitoring. So we recently issued or released the analysis of the LGU's compliance as of October. So we will be doing the same for January. So we'll be sending the copies of the analysis and status of implementation of LGUs to our partner government agencies and organizations. So we also help out in the information dissemination. If you would see in this slide, this is the copy of the digital poster we uploaded in the social media platform, summarizing the basic and major provisions of the memorandum circular. And for information na rin of everyone, the copy of the joint administrative order, and particularly a very important dito we believe is the annexes, which contains a safety guide and yung template ordinance, are made accessible already in the DILG website. We use the DILG website to upload all our issuances, memorandum circulars, joint administrative orders, to make sure that the LGUs, when they visit the website, nakikita nila yung mga recent issuances. So the LGUs, especially when they draft their ordinances, may use the JAW and its attachments or annexes as reference when when they draft their ordinance. So another initiative of the DILG is on the resumption of road clearing operation. So if you would recall, early this year, the DILG issued an MC directing LGUs to conduct road clearing operations. But this was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this October, or I think on the latter parts of October, the DILG issued an MC that the road clearing operations will commence starting November 15. So we believe that this could really help LGUs to clear the obstruction along paths and roads um, where the bicycle lane
Institute for Climate and Sustainable Cities. Hi, Celine.
Hi, good morning.
The presentation
What do you think local
of this towards achieving
So we would also
them circulars, joint administrative orders, to make sure that the LGUs, when they visit the website, nakikita nila yung mga recent issuances. So the LGUs, especially when they draft their ordinances, may use the JAW and its attachments or annexes as reference when when they draft their ordinance. So another initiative of the DILG is on the resumption of road clearing operation. So if you would recall, early this year, the DILG issued an MC directing LGUs to conduct road clearing operations. But this was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this October, or I think on the latter parts of October, the DILG issued an MC that the road clearing operations will commence starting November 15. So we believe that this could really help LGUs to clear the obstruction along paths and roads where the bicycle lanes are maybe established. So by maintaining the roads clear of obstruction, we are of the view that the lanes will be usable and sustainable and functional as we protect the roads from this obstruction. So we also participate in capacity building programs and activities conducted by partner institutions. So the DILG may not have the technical capacity, especially when it comes to providing assistance dun sa design standards ng mga bicycle lanes. We leave this up mostly to our partner government agencies, but we participate in the capacity building activities, especially when it comes to making LGUs more aware of their roles on local governance and on this initiative. So there's continuous coordination with with partner agencies and organizations. So actually, I think it was just last week when we conducted our last technical working group meeting. So we'd like to assure the public now that the agencies involved in the joint administrative order continuously or regularly meets to discuss yung mga initiatives and improvements on how we can implement this advocacy better. And then for the next steps, so kasi the DILG is on its early stage in the monitoring or in providing context on where the LGUs are when it comes to their compliance. Like what I've said, since the issuance of the MC last July, this is the first quarter, yung third quarter, where we first analyzed the results of the compliance of LGUs. So we plan to continue improving the monitoring mechanism to make sure that the government agencies and the organizations are well aware to where the LGUs stand and the capacity that the LGUs currently have. Para sa ganitong paraan, we can also look at the gaps that need to be addressed, kung ano yung mga capacity development activities that LGUs may need to receive, and how we can further help them fulfill their functions under the policy. And then, as to the template ordinance, while it is already uploaded in the DILG website, to make sure that all LGUs receive the copy of the template ordinance, we are currently reviewing it. And once it's approved, we can provide a copy of such to all local government units, just so everybody is guided kung ano yung mga basic provisions that need to be included in the ordinance. But of course, just like every template ordinance, hindi naman ito pine-prescribe that this is what should be yung laman ng policy. So this is just a recommendation to the local government units on what they can consider na content sa kanilang mga policies. Ayan. So basically, that's it for DILG. Thank you and have a great day to everyone.
Listen to me now, nigga. Listen to me.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Aliyah, and to DILG for taking proactive steps and initiatives in making our roads more inclusive. So we would also like to underscore that smart and urban planning and consultation with experts are necessary to making our roads safer for our cyclists. This goes hand in hand with monitoring, of course. Now, moving on, we are also honored to have Director Beverly Ho from the Department of Health to deliver a presentation. Director Beverly?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'd just like to acknowledge my colleague, Dasha Uy, who will be sharing the slides on our behalf.
Hello, can we request, please, to be allowed to share? Thank you.
So the DOH po is very much committed to active transport, no? And as our colleagues from our national government agencies has mentioned in their presentation, we're all working towards implementation, the full implementation po of our All right. Thank you, Dash. So from the side of the DOH, it's very clear to us that we need to make sure that all Filipinos are not just safe from COVID, but are able to increase their immune system, no? And this would entail having a healthy lifestyle. And part and parcel of that healthy lifestyle would be active transport. Next slide, please. So what you will see here is a framework for how we view health promotion. And health promotion basically means it directs actions towards changing our social, environmental, and economic conditions that impact individual and public health, no? And it is a means for us to strengthen skills and capabilities of individuals, but it's also very aware po, no, that while individuals might want to do it, the settings or our environment need to allow us to do it. So on the right-hand side, you will see the 7 priority areas that the Health Promotion Bureau will be working on in the coming years towards a healthy Pilipinas 2030. No? And we consider that active transport actually spans a few of those priority areas, namely diet and exercise, environment and climate change, and safety and inclusivity. And with these in mind, we hope to be able to, with this community, be able to advance active transport towards achieving our health promotion goals. Next slide, please. So with that, and with this community, we are grateful to have been able to produce the first version of the playbook, specifically on active transport, with the objective of providing ready-to-use health promotion tools to our LGUs to assist in their implementation of active transport. So there are many sections in the playbook, notably a draft ordinance, a briefer on what active transport is. There's also a draft implementation plan that makes it easy for the LGU to digest the step-by-step things that they need to do in order to implement this, prototype and ready-to-use communication materials, and a series of FAQs depending on who the audience would be. No? So implementers, existing potential cyclists, motorists, or even pedestrian. Also, next slide, we hope to be able to support certain local government units in promoting the active transport playbook. And to be able to do that, we need to also be able to pilot it, no, before we are going to push for the full implementation of this. No? So we understand that this might need to undergo further refinement. And because of that, we have mobilized small grants, at least using resources this year to assist the municipality of Cordova for the rollout of bicycle lanes. And budget permitting for our 2021 proposal, hopefully we will be able to get the additional budget that we requested to support more LGUs, no, in the form of grants. We are in that spirit scouting for other LGUs who will be willing to roll out this active transport playbook in their area. Next. So as mentioned na po kanina, and I want to repeat, there's a JAW for which we're happy to have participated and actively participated in the crafting. But more importantly, now we are the Secretariat of the Interagency Coordination, TWG. And for this, we have committed, the 4 agencies have committed to meeting at least once a month in order to update each other about developments, no? Kasi we all need to do many things at the same time, but be able to make sure that we're all gearing towards a single output, no? Next slide, please. So just in general, we're very, very happy and grateful for the partnerships that we've had, including this one with Padyak Pilipinas and many of our civil society organizations. We recognize the critical role, not just of the national government agency, but also the partners, no, the civil society organizations, knowing that many of Filipinos might not still be able to imagine what this looks like, diba? And how this will fully benefit them, no? So it is our job to not just provide the infrastructure, but also generate demand, and in all those mechanisms, also use opportunities available to us to inform our populace, no, about the benefits of this. And so they know they will demand this from their local government units as well, no? So parang sabi nga, no, bibingka model, so top and bottom up approach, no, top down and bottom up approach all at the same time po. So we are committed to making sure that through our partnerships with our national government agencies, we will have improved infrastructure, but through our work with our civil society organizations, but through our work with our CSO partners, the private sector, we will be able to architect a healthy built environment, or what we call in health promotion language as healthy setting, no? That will help Filipinos move for health. So finally, we at the DOH, we are committed to helping Filipinos in all regions and metropolis enjoy a healthy lifestyle that is healthy, active, and safe. So if you're interested to check out the playbook, please see the screen. Nandyan po yung mga links, no? And if you're interested to also work with us and our team, please feel free to email us for possible collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Director Beverly Ho. We are truly excited with the finalization and fully implementing the playbook on active mobility and transport. And we commit to support and coordinate with the pilot of these guidelines with the LGUs. So we now go to the Department of Public Works and Highways.
Presentation, we've recently managed to make sure that
ensuring that
sharing the road with vehicles.
The additional budget that we requested to Secretariat of the Interagency that this need to do in order to implement this prototype and ready to use communication implement that this might need to understand jobs once a month. So just in general, we're very, very happy with the partners. No? This also generate the sabi nga, finally, we at the DOH.
Thank you so much, Director Beverly Ho. We are truly excited with the finalization and fully implementing the playbook on active mobility and transport. And we commit to support and coordinate with the pilot of these guidelines with the LGUs. So we now go to the Department of Public Works and Highways. Our speaker from DPWH is Mr. Edmond Benikid. Mr. Edmond, you now have the floor to share the initiatives of your department. Mr. Edmond, are you there? So wala pa po. So I think we now go to our local government units, starting with San Juan City, represented by our Senro, Ms. Gabriela Ann Guevara. So kung maalala niyo po, during the workshop of Padyak Pilipinas was also a simultaneous event of the Mobility Awards, announcing San Juan as one of the top winners, gold winners of the most bike-friendly cities in Metro Manila. So Ms. Guevara, you now have the floor. Hi, Ms. Anne. Okay, so do you have DPWH or a representative from San Juan? Can we now go to Metro Naga while we wait for Miss Anne? Is Mr. Boboy Hernandez there? Okay. So, Bibi, baka maganda tanungin muna natin yung mga naunang speakers while we wait for the rest of the panelists. We have a question for Ms. Beverly Ho. Some say that cycling is an exclusive transport in the sense that not everybody knows how to cycle or are physically able to do so. So what would you tell them?
Well, there are different, no, in any kind of intervention, there will be different options for different types of activities that we want to partake, especially if some people would have limitations, no, in their physical abilities. So, as in any practice, no, you need to learn new skills, and you might, we can actually capitalize on the fact that, diba, different settings in the entire country, meron tayong iba-ibang schools, different geographies, and there are many different ways to travel, diba? So hindi naman to one size fits all, no? So what we want to promote is active lifestyle. And part of active lifestyle, if you're living in an area which allows you to cycle, is active transport. Pero if that's not possible, then you can walk, diba? You can walk to work, to school, etc. No? So I guess yung ano lang namin doon is, hindi naman to one size fits all. But we need to give our people the option to practice this if they intend to do so.
Salamat. Yes, it's really about options and complementation of different forms of transportation for every Filipino. So for Mr. Eldon, just as a brief question and answer, how do you think local and national government units and agencies can better work together to improve mobility? Mr. Eldon?
Yeah, hello, sorry. Can you
Yes.
repeat the question? I was
Okay. How do you think local and national government units and agencies can better work together to improve mobility?
Yeah. Actually, I would like to focus on the establishment of bike lane infrastructure because yeah, currently the DOTR together with DPWH are in the process of coordinating with the LGUs with regards to ensuring that the metropolitan or intercity bike lane networks will be interconnected with the local intra-area network of the LGU. So basically, we would like to emphasize the need for the LGU and the NGA coordination with regards to the policies, programs, and the projects pertaining to active transport to ensure that the mentioned activities will be harmonized with each other. So yeah, currently in the JAW, we are planning to engage the LGUs as well through the DILG by ensuring that the projects of the LGUs will be coordinated to the national government agencies to ensure that the NGAs can further assist the LGUs on establishing their active transport infrastructure by way of providing capacity building activities and assisting on their development of the policies to ensure that it will be harmonized with the policies of the national government.
Thank you, Eldon. Yep, it's really important that we allow spaces for the private sector, civil society organizations, sama-sama lahat to make this mobility successful. So I think we already have a representative from San Juan. Again, I would like to introduce Ms. Gabriela Ann Guevara, Senro of San Juan.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Gabe. Yes.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm Gabe Guevara. Bike lanes or the makabagong San Juan bike lanes. So can I share my screen na? All right. Wait, can I have access to share my screen? Ayan. All right. Thank you. Wait, what's happening? There. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So I'm going to present our initiatives on championing sustainable urban mobility here in the city of San Juan. So the environment is one of the key points of the 10-point agenda of the Makabagong San Juan. So along with the other initiatives that we have, like for solid waste management and urban gardening and other sustainable development goal-related initiatives, we have included here the establishment of the bike lanes. As we all know that the bike lanes initiative is actually it's a sustainable initiative wherein we are promoting good health, and because of the exercise, and because it lessens or reduces air pollution, because we're sharing the road with vehicles that are run by fuel. So we have the bike ordinance that was passed earlier this year. So the bike ordinance promotes a healthier lifestyle and environmentally sustainable mobility through the use of bicycles. So this city ordinance number 47 series of 2020 includes the establishments of bike-friendly zones, bike lanes, and bike parking facilities, as well as the traffic rules and regulations, bicycle user equipment funds, and advocating the use of bicycles as an alternative, sustainable transport option. So San Juan, as you know, we have established the pop-up bike lanes during the World Bicycle Day. During that time, we used not yet bollards, but the cones and barriers. But now we were able to install bollards along Ortigas Avenue, as well as in the Pinaglabanan area. So as you can see in the photos here in the presentation, the bollards are installed, separating lanes for bicycles and motorcycles, so that our bikers will be safe from fast-moving vehicles. So as you can see here, the bike lanes are already painted and have permanent bollards. We're actually improving further this bike lane initiative with the help of the MMDA. We've actually met with them yesterday. They have presented to us findings from a JICA study for better traffic management, and they're going to provide us with the recommendations formally, and we're just waiting for updates regarding that. And we've also had discussions with you guys from the OTR, the DPWH, regarding the plans that you have. As you've mentioned that Ortigas Avenue from San Juan up to Cainta will be improved with that project. And we're actually excited that we get to connect our bike lane to the other cities in Metro Manila. So aside from the bike lanes, we've actually had other initiatives that would complement the existing bike lanes that we have. So now we have the San Juan City Police Bike Patrollers that are established to make sure that the city is safe by conducting community patrols through a cleaner and more sustainable mode of transport provided by the city government. Aside from that, we have partnered with a lot of institutions and other agencies to provide greener and safer mobility to our constituents. So we've had bicycle donations from Life Cycles PH, Boys and donated paints for us to be able to paint the pop-up bike lanes when we were starting. The Firefly Brigade-Philippines were also there to help us assess the bike lanes that we've installed. EDSA Evolution was there to help us to plan the bike lanes. And then we have Alliance PNB Life, wherein they're going to provide us with the first ever solar powered bike pit stop, which will be installed here in the City Hall, just on the side of our building. So it's going to be composed of a bike repair station, bike racks. There's going to be a bench there. There's also going to be solar panels and lights and roof panels with graphics that complements the Ride Safe campaign of the Alliance PNB Live. So we will be launching this real soon, and we hope that you guys will be able to see how it will actually look like. So this bike pit stop will be complemented also with bike parkings, bike racks here in the City Hall site. So aside from that, to encourage sustainable mobility, our San Juan City government and its partners like Ateneo, EDSA Evolution, Firefly Brigade, and Senator Pia Cayetano, and many more have provided and will be providing more bicycles to San Juaneños. So we've prioritized, especially during the ECQ period, our frontliners, and now we have already purchased additional bicycles that will be used for bike sharing here in the City Hall. So the city government employees will benefit from this bike sharing program, which we will be launching real soon. It's already upstairs here in our city hall, and we're just waiting for the complete delivery of all of the bicycles. So aside from that, we've also have the public transportation modernization, which is part of the vision of the Makabagong San Juan. While we adapt to the new normal, we look ahead with modern jeepneys and tricycles, as well as electric vehicles for public transport. And then just to add, since we've been really working hard on making sustainability work here in San Juan, we're going to really push for it to be a smart and environmentally sustainable city with all public offices and spaces powered by solar energy, from the city hall down to the barangay halls, parks, even solar-powered charging stations for gadgets and vehicles. So those are the initiatives that we have for the environment, and specifically for sustainable urban mobility. And though I haven't included that in the presentation, we were recently recognized as one of the most bike-friendly cities here in Metro Manila, and we thank the Mobility Awards Philippines for giving us the gold ranking or the gold award for that category. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miss Gabe. As we can see naman from your presentation, very well deserved yung gold awards. And all of these are very exciting news, especially when you said you will be connecting the bike lanes with Cainta. And from what I heard, in Pasig then, which in fact Pasig is a gold awardee rin of the Mobility
Yes.
Awards. Yep, so this,
we've already the Pasig transport planner Anton C already contacted me as well, and the Mayor Zamora is really enthusiastic about the bike lanes, and he really wants to work with Mandaluyong and Pasig in connecting the bike lanes that we have, and we'll be coordinating then with the MMDA and DOTR and DPWH on this, because you have various suggestions on how we can further improve our bike lanes here in the city. So yeah.
Yep, definitely great news siya, and we love the message that you're sending na we need to work together as cities to make this work.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Miss Gabe. We're really looking forward sa cities as a plan ng inyong San Juan government. So now we can move on with Metro Naga, represented by Mr. Buboy Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, are you with us already? Okay. Sir Buboy is not here yet, so may I call on the representative of MMDA, Ms. Ching Salinas. Ms. Ching, kamusta?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning.
Miss Ching? Hi, good morning po.
Can I share my
Good morning, Miss Ching.
yes, good morning, good evening. I just want to share my presentation about the accomplishment of
Miss Ching, sorry, medyo malabo po yung audio.
mahina yung audio ko.
Yes po.
Sana ko
Maybe closer po yung mic.
paano ko i-share yung akin? Wait lang, i-share ko lang yung akin. Asan po ako
Miss Ching, nasa office po kayo?
Yes, ma'am, we're in our office.
I see.
Can I share my PowerPoint?
Yes po. Can we please make Miss Ching co-host?
Yung PowerPoint, ilagay mo, may share din.
Ayan, you can share na the presentation po. Thank you.
Andun na? Wala pa. So, nag-share yata kami. Okay naman, no. Hindi kaya.
Hello, Miss Ching. Could you try speaking po para ma...
Yes, habang hindi ko pa namin na-share, yes, I just want to know that NMDA is really in full support of the bike lane ever since kahit wala pa yung pandemic natin, we are already having the project bike lane as early as 2005. The Metro Manila Council has already passed an NMDA resolution approving the concept. Ang tawag pa namin doon before is Walk and Pedal Project of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. Ma'am, andyan na. Ito naman. Nasya na po. Ayan na. Sino nagpapa? Sino nagpapa? Next page please. Nandiyan na po ma'am sa screen. Hello?
Hi po. Yes, go ahead po, Miss Ching.
Slide please. Slide please. As I was saying, early in 2005, we have already this walk and pedal way project of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. And this project involves the establishment of the bike route lanes as part of the energy conservation program of the government, aimed on providing a safe thoroughfare with low-cost and environment-friendly means of non-motorized transportation for commuters and pedestrians. This project also aims to help and health consciousness and promote exercise. Then back then, we have also, during that time, we have already established several bike routes Actually, the number namin ko is 256, I think, routes. But we have just established the Malate before in the Commonwealth Avenue, Marcos Highway, Ross Boulevard, Ortigas, and here at Magallanes to Ayala along EDSA, northbound. And on December 10, 2012, yung project namin ngayon, Vice Plains Office, was also established through MMDA Order number 6, and it's called now as the Bike Lane Program Office, headed by yours truly. Yan po yung BLPO namin ngayon, who is in charge of the following functions. Next slide, please. We have supervised and managed the operation of the bike lanes, study and make proper recommendations to enhance the existing bike lanes, and for the study on proper recommendations to enhance existing bike lanes and for the establishment of other bike lanes. Put up safe parking facilities, road signage, maps and other items necessary for maintenance of the bike lanes. Ensure that all obstacles and encroachments are removed from the bike lanes. Coordinate with other officers of MMDA, local government units in Metro Manila, the national government agencies, and even other private entities for more effective and efficient performance of its functions. And we are also trying to perform such other functions as may be necessary and directed by the chairman of MMDA. So as of now, we are still cycling has become more popular now because of the pandemic COVID-19. With many cities and municipalities encouraging it as an alternative to driving. At the same time, our concern is really the safety. Even before we can construct or implement bicycle lanes, we are very strict in providing the safety of the cyclists. So we have, with the help of the Google, we have made 10 bike safety fundamentals and regulations. As I may read, always wear a helmet on every side, yield to pedestrian and other vehicles already on the roadway, ride with the flow of traffic, not against it, don't ride on the sidewalk, obey all traffic signals and signs, obey the rules of the road, yield before turning or moving to the other lane, always use hand signals, wear bright, high visible clothing preferably with reflective tape or patches, ride in control at all times, and never ride in low light or dark conditions without front rear light reflectors. And we have also a 12 riding techniques, which we are always giving advices to the cyclists. Always keep a safe distance between yourself and other riders or vehicles. Keep at least 4 feet between you and a vehicle. Don't hug the curb too closely. Maintain a comfortable distance from the pavement edge. As much as possible, ride in a single file. In other countries, this is required by law. Don't ride on the sidewalks unless no other safe options exist. Motorists at intersections or when leaving or entering driveways often do not see quick-moving cycles traveling on sidewalks. Likewise, watch for cars coming out of alleys. They may not see you. Don't pass other cyclists on the right. When needed, make no noise, use horn, a bell, whistle, or just yell. On busy streets, don't swerve back and forth around parked cars or other obstacles. Maintain a straight course and watch out for opening car doors. Be ready to brake. Keep your hands on the rear, the brake lever, so you can stop quickly. Pedal strongly when going through intersections. If 5 or more cars are behind you, pull over and let them pass. Be predictable. And the last is the road awareness. Stay alert at changes in your surroundings at all times. Communicate your intentions to drivers and other cyclists as much as possible. Use of hand signals might not be understood by every driver. Make friendly eye contact with drivers. This helps to ensure your intentions are understood by motorists. Watch out for things that can add or cause problems between cyclists and automobiles like bright sign lights, fatigue, darkness, and sharp bends on the road. Semi-trucks have a blind spot when they turn. Avoid riding in the blind spot. Avoid actions that can cause accidents between bicycles such as following too closely, poor communication, or lapses in concentration. Be especially cautious or at intersections. Many cycling accidents occur here. Ride with confidence when you're in traffic. Timid wobbly riders make drivers nervous. Cyclists or groups of cyclists who ride in respectful, self-assured manner are more likely to be granted extra room and respect in return. Those were the tips that has been gathered by MMDA and being implemented as of now. As the head of the bike lane program office, we are now busy with helping the DOTR, DPWH, and other agencies in our bike lane project. So we have been communicating with different LGUs for the stunning connectivity with the bike lane along EDSA. So far, we have this, I just want to let you know that bike lane with the MMDA has 4 areas being monitored, like the bike lanes along Ross Boulevard, along Commonwealth, along Ortigas White Plains, and these are manned by our bike patrol as of now. We have been also doing our bike sharing at Ross Boulevard without cost for those who wants to bike from end to end. And so far, this is one of our projects that are really nice and we can share. And we do also have this bike count on different intersections. And as the pandemic comes along, it's really amazing. The result of the bike count really very different from that before nung wala pang pandemic. And so far, that's our activities with MMDA this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ching, and we are definitely looking forward for na makover yung iba pang roads ng MMDA Bike Program Office. So, may we now go ahead sa, balikan natin pala yung ating LGUs. Sorry. May I now call on Kisha Mayuga to give us a perspective of the private sector. Kisha Mayuga is one of the founders of Life Cycles and one of the organizers of the Padyak Pilipinas. Hi, Kisha.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello. It's good to see some familiar faces here, and also thank you to all the agencies and to MMDA and LGUs who are present here, and also to our media friends. So I'll just share screen. So of course, you know, one of the other important sectors who has been contributing to our cycling culture is the private sector, and we've been partnering up civil society and also local government and national agencies to really promote cycling culture with the private sector. And we can see it here with a few of, I'll show you a few of the initiatives that the private sector has really done in the past few months. So we'd like to recognize the efforts of SM Supermalls, and they've launched their bike lanes in MOA last September, and they're also launching their other bike-friendly initiatives in other malls nationwide. So they're rolling it out slowly, and this includes protected bike lanes, bike parking, including or letting folding bicycles um, be allowing folding bicycles in the mall, and also other perks for cyclists. So that's just one of the efforts of SM, and we're excited to see the rest of their efforts roll out nationwide. So next, one of the first collaborations really with Makati Business Club and Masaya along with civil society is to the putting up of bike lanes along Ayala Avenue. So if you noticed last week, tinanggal for the typhoon, but they're now back and a lot of cyclists have been using it. And we really appreciate the effort of Masaya and Makati Business Club in promoting cycling culture along this very, pre-pandemic infamously traffic road. Another effort from Makati Business Club is the partnership with Pasig on the assembly and open streets. So this isn't just strictly for cyclists, but it's a call for open streets so that more people of Pasig can really appreciate what it means to be able to use the street aside from using it to drive. So these are just some of the initiatives, and I'm pretty sure our private sector, our friends from the private sector have more plans in store for the next coming months. Another thing that just concluded is the Mobility Awards, of course. And here we have a lot of workplaces and commercial establishments that have been nominated as bike-friendly places. So this is actually a lot, more than 150 establishments and workplaces that really competed to become one of the awardees of the Mobility Awards. So we hope that we can see more of these commercial establishments and workplaces. Maybe in the next awards or maybe in the national awards, we'll see a lot more. And we're excited to also engage our community to really nominate a lot more of these places. So just want to say congratulations to our awardees. For workplaces, we have Pasig Transport Office, GSIS Pasay City, and Medical City Ortigas. And then for bike-friendly commercial establishments, we have Bonifacio High Street, SM Marikina, and SM Mall of Asia. So hopefully we'll get to see more of these places pop up with better bicycle parking, better bicycle infrastructure, and better bike-friendly initiatives from our workplace and from commercial establishments. And lastly, we have this Park and Ride Your Bike. So if you're familiar with Park and Ride Loton, it's in a very strategic area near Intramuros, Mian Garden, near Arroceros Park. And before the pandemic, it was a bus depot. It's 15,000 square meters of space, 3 floors. That used to be a bus depot, but now it's becoming a community area where cyclists and pedestrians can use it as a rest stop or use it as a place to meet up, because it's really in the cultural center of Manila. So they're going to be opening up their area, the huge bus depot area, into now a cycle-friendly and pedestrian-friendly area. So they're going to launch this Sunday, and hopefully we'll see a lot of cyclists there. And yes, so we hope that more of our private sector allies and more workplaces and employers really see the value in cycling and putting up bicycle infrastructure in coordination with the government and with civil society, and of course the stakeholders, our cyclists, to really get our cycling culture going, because this isn't just something that we're doing to cope with the pandemic, but this is something that we're doing for the longer term. And I'm happy that all of us, the private sector, the government agencies, and CSOs are all in this together to really forward the goal of better active transport in the country. So that's it. Thank you so much, and looking forward to hear all of the questions and all of the discussions that will be coming out of this. Thank you.
Salamat, Keisha. I think it is now clear that lahat tayo sama-sama, kasama when we talk about active mobility. Since the opening remarks of Mr. Robert C., he already underscored the important roles of the national government, local government units, the private sector, and civil society organizations to make our roads more democratic for the majority of our commuters. So nasabi ni Keisha yung mga upcoming events ng Padyak Pilipinas. Also, when we launched the national campaign for the Mobility Awards. So tama, we call on more workplaces, commercial establishments, and local government units to join these initiatives and programs. So balik tayo sa local government unit representatives natin. We now go to Metro Naga, represented by Mr. Boboy Hernandez, the head of the Naga City Bike Board. Mr. Boboy, are you here? Hi, Mr. Buboy. Are you setting up? Okay, while we wait for Mr. Buboy, may we now call the representative from the Health Professionals Alliance Against COVID-19, Dr. Tony Dance, to continue our presentation on the role of the private sector. Dr. Dance, you have the floor.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. We hope everyone's staying safe. Can we have permission to show our slides? Yeah, Dr. Leonila Dance is showing the slides for me, please. Okay, now. Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. So, good morning, everyone. I'm speaking on behalf of the Healthcare Professional Alliance Against COVID-19, a coalition of more than 100 healthcare professional organizations, including physicians, nurses, midwives, pharmacists, and other healthcare professionals. Now, my first slide shows what you'll see. Next, please. If you retrieve, oh, we're being disabled. Use the arrow. Just a minute.
Okay, while we wait for Dr. Dance, may we request all our media partners present here in the live
You were
Zoom
last
meeting.
slide.
Okay, you're back, Dr. Dance.
Thank you, thank you. So my first slide shows what you'll find if you retrieve newspaper articles during the 1918 flu pandemic. So you'll see great similarities. That was more than a century ago. There was worldwide spread with even more deaths than COVID-19. Cities were closed down and people had to deal with quarantine and isolation. Physical distancing was enforced and crowding was discouraged. Hand washing was encouraged, and wearing of face masks and even shields were beginning then. One unrecognized similarity between 1918 and 2019 is the call for active transport. People were encouraged to travel on bikes when possible instead of using crowded public vehicles like trains and buses. The difference today is that now we have proof that bikes do work. The Healthcare Professional Alliance Against COVID recommends 4 enforceable policies to assure transport safety. And we know that these measures now can reduce the risk of transmission. So adequate ventilation through open windows, or if not possible, assurance of 4 to 6 air exchanges per hour reduces the risk of transmission by 95%. At least 1 meter physical distancing combined with shortening trips to less than 30 minutes can reduce the risk of transmission by 81%. And the use of masks and face shields can reduce transmission by 93%. We recommend that commuters make sure that they are able to comply with at least 3 of these 4 measures. However, with the current public utility vehicles that we have, windows cannot always be open, and physical distancing may be difficult, and travel time is often prolonged because of traffic. Bicycles, on the other hand, can satisfy all 4 criteria. Adequate ventilation, physical distancing from each other, short interactions between riders, and use of personal equipment, protective equipment. We therefore support Padyak Pinoy, the Move as One Coalition, the Department of Health, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Public Works and Highways, and the MMDA, the various LGUs, and private organizations in the move to control this pandemic through actions that enable safe, not only safe, but efficient and equitable transport options. In particular, the creation of protected bicycle lanes. Beyond the current pandemic, however, we need to future-proof these bike lanes and these interventions. And we give you 10 reasons, 10 health reasons why we should. Number 1, to lower the risk of future pandemics. Number 2, to reduce traffic and traffic accidents. So many people don't know this, but studies show that active transport has been followed by reductions in traffic accidents in countries where they are implemented. a reduction in pollution, and thereby a reduction in cancers. Increase in physical activity. Metro Manila is notorious in the Philippines as having the highest prevalence of physical inactivity. This will in turn control obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and in the end prevent stroke, heart attack, and other cardiovascular diseases. Next, please. So disasters in the past have led to improvements in urbanization. The fire that destroyed Chicago in 1835 led to steel and stone structures and engineering developments that paved the way to skyscrapers. The 1988 blizzard that paralyzed New York led to the development of the modern subway system all around the world. And the 1832 cholera pandemic led to the development of modern sewage systems. HPAC is optimistic that if we join hands with government and the private sector, this 2019 pandemic can lead to the development of beautiful cities with efficient, equitable transport systems. This is a picture of what has happened in the city of Iloilo, for example. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to support this great movement that can control the current pandemic and prevent future pandemics. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Dr. Dance. So we truly saw cycling in a different light during this pandemic, and this is especially true for our medical workers, our frontliners. So I think we already have the representative from Metro Naga, Sir Buboy Hernandez, the head of the Naga City Bike Corporate. Sir Buboy, welcome po.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Sorry for the delay. We are having some trouble in connectivity here in Naga City.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
As of now, Naga City are just having some problem due to Typhoon Rolly. Or most of us telecommunication and electricity was shut down. So as of now, most of the employee from City Hall or government and private sector are having we are doing a clean up drive to our city. Most of the area has been damaged during the Typhoon Rolly last week. When it comes to Naga City, we have done almost 10 to 20% only when it comes to mobility. I have a presentation with you that I will send it to, I will play it here. Hello.
Hello, can we show Mr. Buboy's presentation, please? Okay, I'll waiting for the presentation. Sir, may I ask, how do you think have Metro Manila cities responded to the current transport situation? How about other cities in the Philippines po?
I will not talk about other city. I will talk about in our city in Bicol region. In Bicol region, Naga City was we are ahead of all the cities in Bicol when it's terms to bike program, bike infrastructure, and bike program from the city. we are only on 2017. Our mayor, our vice now mayor of the Naga City, this is Mayor Nelson Legacion, was the vice mayor before in 2017. He drafted an ordinance, city ordinance, that is called Naga City Bike Ordinance 2017-030. This ordinance was implemented last end of 2017, but it was not fully passed to the right department to implement this ordinance. The ordinance of bike ordinance was already there. Almost 1 year of end of 2019, when our mayor Nelson Legacion take office, he already implemented the ordinance 2017. Only that time was the board was created last 2020, and of first year of 2020, the ordinance was already implemented, and slowly we are catching up the what is based on this ordinance.
Yes, thank you, sir. It's good to hear na Naga is one of the proactive earlier pa when it comes to bicycle-friendly initiatives. So I think the presentation is set up now. Can we show it, please?
Hi, Mr. Buboy. I think you need to present your own slides. You already have the share screen access. There you go.
Okay. I cannot show where is the presentation.
Click po nindo, sir, itong bike lanes po. Naiiling mo na po itong screen nindo?
Yes. No. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Did you see this bike ordinance now?
It's not yet flashing, sir. We still have a black screen.
Okay.
There.
Okay. If you can see, this ordinance, this is was authored by our Mayor Nelson Legacion. This is the ordinance. We have conducted a survey on. Did you, excuse me, did you see this slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This ordinance was drafted in 2017. We just updated it recently. I think on February 2020, we updated this slide that we have. This is the study that we conducted early of 2019 or end of 2019. What we are done on the survey in Naga City are based on different city government like NGRO, PSO, City Engineer Office, and CDPO, assisted by a civil group. This is the ordinance that he passed on 2017. This is the policy of the declaration. This is all about the rules that we implemented during the time. Now, what we are about to discuss about here, we are only focusing the bike group here in our city, Naga. where we where we divided it in three categories. People who use bike as a means of transportation is the transport. Number one is the transport. Second is sport and tourism. And third is health and wellness. These two groups, we segregated them to give them the chance to represent on their side during the implementation of Naga City Bicycle Board. They are the one who elected, who show us the correct information, feed us what they want. The transport sector are those who use bicycle during their works, like construction worker, bike to work workers. This is the sector that they have their own president that represent them. The second one is those those who compete, like they join the sports, they represent their groups, and they join in events in sports. The third one is health that used for most of them are having they're using bicycle as their own health from their side. These are all the seminars. This is the day that we have created during a bike month that will come on November this month. We're having a bike month here in Naga City. Now, when it comes to bicycle lane, last August 2020, we have starting making our own bike lanes in Naga City. We call it bike belt that compose 19 kilometers that will pass 8 barangays in Naga City. If you can see, we have 4 pace bicycle lane in Naga City. The first phase will be we're having an inauguration on November 22 this month here in Naga. We will open the bike lane on November 22. The inauguration will be on November 22 for the first bicycle lane in Naga. They'll call it bike belt, which is had around 18 to 19 kilometers scope around the city. The second phase will be around 8 kilometers. The third phase will be 4 kilometers. And the last one, which is the fourth phase, will be 13 kilometers. During the 2019, we have some event that we conducted during first week of 2019 in February. We have a bike to school program. We have the Naga City Bike Expo, where all the bike shop has invited and showcased their own product. They have also some race we have conducted. And this is the 2000, we are supposed to implemented this all activity that we have and this year, but due to the pandemic, we are not able to we are not able to start this all activity due to the pandemic. If you can see, you can have some bike registration, and we have also part of Naga City Nutrition Fund Ride, we have Bicicleta sa Pag-unlad, and we have all the program that we passed during this 2020. This 2022, we will having another set of this to implement this all. As of now, we're having some purpose for Naga City bicycle program that will be set up on the middle of our uptown Naga City, where we located some purpose for Naga City bicycle program here in Naga City. This is all the program that we have during the Let a Buy program. We have also Loan a Buy program, and we have the bike registration for all the bikes. This is composed of sticker and PVC ID. This is the one who donated the. Now we have start the bicycle lane. This is the Sundays that we start. This in Naga City. If you can see, we have 1.5 meters in both sides from both lanes. We have started it already. I think to finish on November 22 this month. That's all for today po. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Buboy. And now I think, maraming salamat po. And now I think we reached the portion, the most exciting portion of our press conference, which is the question and answer. So I would just like to acknowledge the presence of Inquirer and Radio Inquirer